Dear friends in Jesus Christ, today we are in the 22nd Sunday of the Ordinary Time, Year A. Most of us must have asked the following question: what is the most important thing in life? Some may answer that money is the most important thing in life. Some may answer that relationship or love is the most important thing. For some, happiness is the most important thing in one's life. For others, peace is the most important thing. Yes, as per the personal state of one's life and the expectation for the future, each one will consider different things as the most important thing in one's life. Whatever may be, one must have life principles. Life principles guide one's life. Life principles influence one's decisions. This is also known as one's personal philosophy or center of one's life. The second reading of today, the letter of St. Paul to the Romans, asking us to be a different person. Be a different person in your attitude. Be a different person in your thinking pattern. Be a different person in your lifestyle. In the gospel, Jesus is giving an answer for being a different person. Jesus tells, if you want to follow me, deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me. What is the meaning of denying oneself? Denying oneself means denouncing oneself, denouncing one's personal ambitions, likes, and dislikes, giving priority to others, removing the selfishness, and living as selfless person. Second, Jesus is asking us to take up our crosses. Today, cross is considered as one of the holy objects. But at the time of Jesus, cross was the symbol of shame. Cross was considered as punishment. Cross meant sufferings and struggles. So when Jesus tells us to take up our cross, he actually tells us to embrace the struggles, to accept sufferings, to acknowledge the shame. Then Jesus is telling us to follow him. Yes, after embracing our own crosses, our struggles, our shame, our sufferings, Jesus is telling us to follow him. In other words, to follow Jesus, the condition or the requirement is to embrace our crosses. This is the principle that Jesus is handing over to us. And he goes on to say, if you want to find your life, lose your life. Lose your personal desires. Lose your ambitions. Lose your prejudices. Lose your past hurts. Lose your glories. Be ready to lose your name. And then you will begin to find your life. Jesus is also very specific and concrete in saying, lose your life for my sake. Many times we are ready to lose ourselves, lose our life for the sake of something else or for the sake of somebody else. But Jesus is telling us, if you are ready to lose yourself, if you are ready to sacrifice yourself, if you are ready to die yourself for my sake, you will begin to receive a new life, a life with purpose, a life with new meaning. In the first part of the gospel passage of today, Jesus is telling that he himself had to go through the same experience of losing himself, of sacrificing himself. But Saint Peter was not ready to accept it. He understood what Jesus meant, but he was not ready to accept that Jesus had to die. Peter not only could not accept, he began to rebuke Jesus. Thus Jesus tells Peter, get behind me, Satan. Last Sunday we saw Jesus acknowledging the faith of Saint Peter and called Peter as rock and told, upon this rock I will build my church. Today Jesus is rebuking Peter just because Peter was not ready to accept the principles of Jesus that one has to deny oneself and carry one's cross. In the first reading, we see Prophet Jeremiah, where he was considered to be a laughing stock. People called him a traitor because he had to speak what God of Yahweh told him to speak, and it was hurting the sentiments of the people of Israel. And they told him that you are not a true prophet. In that situation, Jeremiah comes to God and says, Lord, you seduced me. I followed your instructions, but people call me that I am a traitor and I have become a laughing stock for them. Dear friends in Jesus Christ, when we begin to live up to the principles of Jesus, we too will be considered as laughing stock. But Jesus keeps on telling us, deny yourself. You name any problem in the history of humankind, or maybe in your family, in your workplace, or in your personal life. And when you analyze that problem, you will come to know that selfishness is the root cause of that problem. Thus, Jesus is telling, deny yourself. When we remove ourselves from the center and place the other person and give importance and priority to other person, the life becomes joyful and meaningful. Saint Peter Julian Amod, the founder of the Congregation of the Blessed Sacrament, calls this denying oneself as gift of self. That is nothing for me and nothing by me. All for the glory of God and all by God. Gift of self. In this week, can we concretely live this gift of self, denying of oneself in the family, in the workplace, and in the society? May God bless you. Amen.